Hey everybody, this is Yusef for Video Game Plot Summaries, and today we are talking about Red Dead Revolver. Now, previously I had put this up on the channel, and a lot of people accused me of race baiting, and I kind of understand what the deal is. I mean, at first, when I watched the game, when I played the game, Red was, he's a biracial dude, and they got a black dude in there, and they got a white lady in there, and they got a whole bunch of different ethnicities, Native American, and I thought that was pretty special, including, you know, especially for Rockstar Games. However, Rockstar Games wasn't the one that really developed this game. It was Angel Studios, and then it was purchased by Rockstar Games. But Angel Studios was using Capcom's funding, so Capcom had the copyrights to the game. And then when Rockstar Games took over Angel Studios, then Rockstar acquired the rights from Capcom, then released the game, which was shelved for a while. And that's how you get Red Dead Revolver. So in the beginning, it wasn't really Rockstar's game, so being upset that Rockstar didn't continue along with the way that Red Dead Revolver structured itself and told the story. There were a few people in the comments that actually were able to portray this to me, and I really thank you guys, and definitely in the comments of that thing, I did tell them that it was pretty dope what kind of comment they had. But there were a lot of people who couldn't really articulate very well what it is they wanted to say, other than, oh, race bad, don't tell me someone is of different race because it doesn't matter in story. Yeah, no, it does matter in the story. It makes a lot of sense, and I think this game did pretty well, and I want to acknowledge that. So there, I hope that wasn't too racist for you. Let's get to the story. A pale man named Nate Harlow fell in love with a Native American woman named Falling Star from the Red Wolf tribe. They moved to a secluded area to escape people being mad at them for no reason, and had a biracial son named Red. Nate goes off searching for gold with a dude named Griff and comes home rich after having found a nice spot. Red notices that his dad has a real nice gun. It's one of two special guns that he and Griff had made to symbolize their partnership. It also is now an heirloom.
One day this fine weapon will be yours. But for now, why don't you take my old pistol? Go on down to the river and practice while I give your ma her gifts.
I hope it's not syphilis or pneumonia, am I right? Anyway, after Nate is done showering Fallen Star with gifts, they come out to watch Red practice and suddenly spot a raider ambush from over yonder. It starts to storm as Red and Nate hold off the raiders the best they can, but the raiders killed Nate and Fallen Star, although Red seems to only care about his dad at the moment. While Red is trying to wake up his dead dad, some dude in a silly military uniform starts talking smack.
I reckon your pa's better off dead. Him being such a yellow belly and all. Ah!
Red grabs that piping hot gun and with one shot blows off Laughing Soldier's entire arm and then runs off. Red's shooting hand is permanently scarred, but it was so worth it. So, cut to present day. Present day? It's weird when period pieces have flashbacks, because it's all pretty much a flashback. So it's like Inception. The present day is still the past. The smoky filter made the flashback official, though. So cut to present day. Sorta. Red is now an accomplished bounty hunter with a dog and the voice of Steve Blum. Well, he had a dog until a member of the Ugly Gang killed it for peeing on its boots. So yeah, Red had to clear the gang out of that town. Unfortunately, the leader of the Ugly Gang, Ugly Chris, used the sheriff as a shield in a firefight. Since the doctor skipped town a while ago, the sheriff's daughter begs Red to help him get to Brimstone and sweetens the pot with a reward once they get there. Brimstone, huh? Sounds like hell. It's to Brimstone, and Sheriff Bartlett tells Red he has some work for him. The first assignment is Pig Josh, a fat circus freak with a penchant for dynamite. He's holding a British chap named Jack Swift as a hostage.
Excuse me. Excuse me, sir. I seem to have found myself in a most unfortunate situation. If you would be kind enough to help me.
You ain't my problem.
Anyway, Red frees Jack, and now it's a two-man party. Red kills Pig Josh, and Jack says he owes Red one. It's a good thing that Pig Josh didn't blow himself up. I don't know how Red would have brought him in for bounty. I guess you could put the pieces in a bag and drag it on a board? Well, as Jack Swift is heading back wherever, he runs into a woman being held hostage. A surprise! It's an ambush for no reason.
Who is up for some barbecue?
Never mind. The leader of the gang, Professor Perry, seems to know Jack.
That wasn't very nice, Jack. Don't bet on making it out again.
Turns out that Jack is a bounty hunter too. That's why he got captured by Pig Josh. So Jack kills Perry and saves the girl. The girl is ready to wax his carrot, but he's like, "Oh, I wish I could get paid in real money for this." So instead of waxing his carrot, she just tells him that Brimstone has a quick draw contest for $5,000 he can enter. I never understand quick draw contests. If you lose, you die. You're gonna have to put up more than $5,000. Oh wait, I just looked it up. $5,000 in that time is about $100,000 in today's time. So that makes sense. But yeah, the movies always act like there's a big scouting report for these killers and the stakes are high, but in the end, I've never seen a quick draw tournament finish all the way. There is always some stupid reason to stop the tournament in the semifinals. However, The Quick and the Dead is still one of my favorite Wild West movies. Back to Red. He pulls off more bounties. An angry, hot terracotta woman with a whip.
I could hear you coming, little man. You think you can handle taking on a woman like me? You either drunk or crazy.
And a man with a machine gun and a coffin he carries on his back. When he comes back for the bounties, the sheriff says the wagon hasn't arrived yet with the bank's gold. So now Red has to talk to the bankers. While he's waiting, he overhears a blonde woman named Annie Stokes complaining to the banker. Apparently, she owns a ranch and the governor is squeezing her out by paying her ranch hands to leave. She needs another week so she can do everyone's work.
Well, why not just sell up to the governor? You could always move into town and work in the saloon.
The saloon! How dare you!
Basically telling her to be a prostitute. When she gets mad and starts screaming about the governor getting enough money out of Bear Mountain, so why does he need her ranch? Red catches the back end of that rant.
I'm sorry, sir. How may I be of assistance?
I want my money.
We have a small problem.
Then tell me about the golden Bear Mountain that young lady was talking about.
I'm sorry, I can't disclose anything about our clients. Ooh!
Then tell me where she lives. And when I get back, you'd better have my gold.
Which is pretty dangerous. How is the Bear Mountain thing confidential, but Annie Stokes' address not? That's a little creepy. Anyway, when Annie gets back to her ranch, she finds that the rest of the ranch hands have left and the barn has been set on fire by raiders. Annie frees the cattle from their pens and takes out the gang's leaders, Buff and Holstein. What about Buff and Aloe, right? Anyway, she kills Buff and Holstein. And Red shows up and asks her about Bear Mountain. She points him towards the Brimstone Saloon, and he gives her the $5,000 she needs to keep the ranch. Now, we just established $5,000 is $100,000. Red just gives her that. That's probably the cost of 70% of that ranch. I know he gets tremendous satisfaction keeping the land out of the governor's hands, but I would at least ask for a room I can stay in whenever I need one. A woman like Annie wouldn't take that kind of money without a payback anyway. So, when Red gets to the saloon, he hears a bandito talking about a guy who had his arm replaced with a cannon. Red asks how he lost his arm, but they don't take kindly to strangers round these parts. Red breaks a bottle and puts it up to the man's neck. That prompts a big-ass Debo-looking dude named Sam to show up. And that's when it turns into a good old-fashioned Dukes of Hazzard-style fight. After serving up all-you-can-eat 2 pieces and a biscuit, outdrawing the man who wouldn't tell nothing, and running steroid Sam into the wall, Red gets arrested by Sheriff Bartlett.
All right there, bounty hunter. That's enough disturbing the peace for one day. Hand over the weapon. I said hand it over.
Man, Red is lucky he isn't full out red. You know what I'm saying? Dude would have just came flying in there with 2 guns blazing trying to shoot homeboy up. He even waited for him to fake him out. That was ridiculous. Gave him that Daniel Day-Lewis treatment. Am I right? All right, I think that's the last one. I got it out. Sorry. While in jail, Red tells the sheriff that the one-armed man killed his parents. The sheriff knows right away exactly who Red is, and then he tells Red what happened. You see, 12 years prior, the American army headed south of the border but was stopped by a ferocious general named Diego. After the battle, they found Griff, who was just trying to get across the river to handle business. Diego was going to kill Griff
and shoot him like a dog. No, no, no! I'm not a spy! I'm a businessman! Please! I was just trying to get across the river! Please! I have gold! Lots of gold! Haha, you lied to save your pathetic life! No! It's true! It's true! I have gold! Bring him to me!
But Griff traded half the gold he just found for his life. But the half of the gold he traded wasn't his half, it was Nate's. Diego delivers the gold every week to Griff and is holed up in a fort called Devil's Fork that is hard to penetrate. But even harder to penetrate is the train that carries the gold.
The charges are dropped. If you reckon you can bring him in, dead or... well, dead'll do.
Much obliged.
So, Red opts for sneaking in the Devil's Fork. He gets discovered and destroys the stagecoach.
I want him alive. I have questions for this one.
Diego stops him from killing Red and orders his men to take Red into the mines for questioning. Like Red knows anything. He's not a spy, he's a friggin' bounty hunter. Anyway, witnessing the whole attack was the Native American ninja named Shadow Wolf. He is also the cousin of Red. He goes to the Red Wolf tribe chiefs to inform them that Red is alive and that he's been captured. The chiefs approve of Shadow Wolf's rescue plan, and he goes to get Red. And Shadow Wolf finds Red sitting in a cell with the Union soldier named Buffalo Soldier. They decide to split up. Buffalo Soldier goes to get the U.S. military because they would definitely be interested in a Mexican military force taking gold off of U.S. soil. And Shadow Wolf and Red decide to rendezvous at Devil's Fork. Buffalo Soldier hitches a ride to Brimstone and rushes in to tell Governor Griffin about Diego. "Let's get an army and kick this Mexican army off our land."
His name is Diego. He's running a gold mine, and he's using slave labor. It's a job only the U.S. Army can handle, sir. He has an army, and a fort, too.
Well, thank you, soldier. Mr. Diego is one of my biggest contributors. I'm sure this is all a simple misunderstanding. But Mr. Kelly here, he's gonna take good care of you.
In the meantime, Shadow Wolf and Red get to the fort to meet a Gatling gun and a whole mess of Mexican soldiers. They know they aren't going to make it waiting for Buffalo's cavalry, so Shadow Wolf tells Red that he will draw Gatling gun fire while Red finds a way inside and takes out the gun from close range. Great plan. Red clears out the fort and goes downstairs to help Shadow Wolf do cleanup. But then Shadow Wolf gets captured by the one-armed man. Crap!
Revenge shall be mine!
Now that man's name is Darren, by the way. Darren. After a short fight, friggin' Shadow Wolf dies.
Many are the dead who have prayed for this moment. You have done well, Red, but his master Diego still lives. That's Diego's war train. Go, cousin, finish what you have started.
That was totally unnecessary story-wise. That sucks ass. It's not like Red needed any more people to die. That's just harsh. Anyway, Red takes Shadow Wolf's knife and plunges it into Darren, giving Shadow Wolf the credit for the kill. If Red lives, he needs to make up a good story too. Off in the distance, Red can hear Diego's ward train fleeing to Mexico, so he grabs a horse and gets ready to finish this. Red catches up to the train and stops it using a random Gatling gun that an old man brought on an adjacent track? That was weird. And then he faces the armored cannon. With everyone dead, Diego gets flushed out and Red finally gets the satisfaction of ending his life.
I have gold! Lots of it! You can have it if you spare my life! Whiskey, women, fine weapons, anything you want. What do you say, partner?
Red heads back into town and sees Jack Swift and Annie Stokes. He asks them if they know where Buffalo Soldier is. After all, he was supposed to bring back reinforcements, and he disappeared. But before they can answer, Mr. Kelly interrupts and tells Red that Buffalo Soldier won't be bothering anyone anymore. Mr. Kelly is the one that handled Buffalo when he came to the governor's office.
I do hope you're planning to attend the Battle Royale. I would very much look forward to beating an adversary of your talent.
Sheriff Bartlett warns Red that Mr. Kelly has won 4 years in a row. Red signs up anyway and makes it to the semifinals with Mr. Kelly, Annie Stokes, who quick draws with a rifle, and Jack Swift. Mr. Kelly and Red are up in the first semi, but before they can start,
Due to the sudden absence of Sheriff Bartlett, I'm going to be stepping in to oversee this conclusion to the Battle Royale. Now, whereas the two gentlemen before us are clearly the best, I believe a change of the rules is in order. I hereby disqualify Jack Swift and Annie Stokes. The winner of this here round is going to be the winner of the Battle Royale.
It was about at this point I recognized the game is now using the Deadeye mechanic to screw me in the butt, and that this game doesn't want me to finish it fairly. Anyway, after 20 attempts, Kelly finally goes down.
Well, Red, you're good. I'll give you that. But of course you'd have to be to live through what you did. Still, I'm afraid that we're gonna have to end right here and now what we should have ended so many years ago.
Isn't she a beaut?
Yeah! Can I hold it?
She's one of a pair, only two in the whole world.
Where's the other one? The other one.
Of course, as per movie villain rules, instead of killing Red immediately, he tells a wounded Mr. Kelly to kill Red, and Griffin escapes. Mr. Kelly and Red square off one more time. Fortunately, Mr. Kelly glitched so bad he froze, and Red leisurely shot him in the head to finish him off. With that done, Red meets up with Annie, Jack, and a newly conscious Sheriff Bartlett. The sheriff tells us where the governor's mansion is, and Jack and Annie follow for the final assault. Annie is trying to work off that $5,000, know I mean? But really, the game stuck me with Annie and Jack to prolong itself. Red would have breezed through these guys, but with Annie and Jack needing to stay alive, it was super frustrating. Anyway, Red, Jack, and Annie show up to the mansion with a welcoming committee ready for them. Jack has lock-picking skills, so while he picks the lock, Red and Annie can cover for him. Well, we could have also just shot the lock, but then Jack being there would have been pointless, and we need him there to make the game harder, am I right? So they moved on through the mansion until they eventually found the spot the Buffalo Soldier was being held. Yes, they kept him alive. I thought for sure he was going to die. But then again, Shadow Wolf died, and I thought for sure he was going to live. Anyway, after that, Buffalo showed me where Griffin's office was. But instead of Griffin, it was a lackey that I couldn't remember. They showed him like I should know who he was with the chair turning around all slow. But all I can think of is, surprise, it's not Griffin. So of course, the werewolf man wanted a showdown, and Red plugged his skull full of hot ones. Well, there's nowhere else to go but up. On the roof, Griffin is up there being protected by his dumbest looking henchman. I mean, seriously. Buffalo has some charges that he was going to use on the door, but when he tried to set them up, he was outwitted by Griffin on some Looney Tunes-ish. So with Buffalo incapacitated, it's up to Red to even the score. And that's the summary. Here is the ending.
I always regretted what happened back on your daddy's farm, Red. I should have been there to make sure you joined them. But lucky for me, I get a second chance.
Never did like him much.
Jack?
Well, Red, I'm not saying Griffin didn't deserve it, but he was the governor. I reckon the army will be sniffing around here, and... well, I'd hate to see you hang after all you've done. 5,000 in gold sound like a fair bounty?
to them. It never was about the money.
All right, y'all. That was Red Dead Revolver, or the plot summary, whatever. Was it just me, or did we just witness Red hand the murder weapon over to the Buffalo Soldier? Is that gonna be a thing? When the army comes sniffing around, is he just gonna hand them the murder weapon, or are they gonna use the murder weapon and then say that the Buffalo Soldier is the one who killed the governor? Because that quite possibly could happen, given the climate in this game. You know, it's not too late for the Buffalo Soldier to kick the bucket. You know what I'm saying? And even if Annie and the sheriff spoke on his behalf, they might still fry him, huh? It wasn't me. It wasn't me. I'm from Buffalo. I don't do stuff like that. I'm from New York. New York, son. New York, son, where we don't shoot governors. You know what I'm saying? We keep them. Even if they do a whole bunch of horrible stuff, we keep them. And then we re-elect them later because the other options are horrible. New York. Anyway. I took it to politics. There's something wrong with me. Anyway, Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Revolver. The game was pretty good. I enjoyed playing it. It should have been short. At the end, it started drawing everything out. Anyway, thanks for subscribing. I'm sorry if you watched the other one and it was a little too racial for you. A lot of people complained to me about it, and I left it up there for a while because of the drama, I guess, but you know, after a while of watching it, I start to feel the same way everybody else feels. Like, I'm okay with a few jokes, but me ranting about movies and stuff, that really wasn't my place to grandstand, you know. Maybe I could make another video about that, but I get it. I get how you guys were upset. I was so flabbergasted by how stupid some of the comments were that I just left it up there in spite, but after a while, it doesn't really bother me that much. Well, the comments did bother me. Not in a I want to shoot myself in the face and I suck as a content creator sort of way, because I'm a little too old to have that low a self-esteem. I got like a job, 2 kids, and like an ex-wife who tries to destroy me every time I do something good. So these comments, easy peasy. Ooh, actually, the comments that got on my nerves the most, it wasn't the ones where people were just like, "Hey, I came here for a video game plot summary, and hey, you're talking about other stuff, and I wanted to unwind." Like their whole job every day is people talking about race relations or something like that. Yeah, you're not fooling me. Those guys didn't bother me. It was the guys who came in and tried to use the big SAT words. Like, they went and found all the biggest multi-syllabic words they could come up with, and they put it on a big list, and they committed them to memory so they could own everybody in these little comment arguments and stuff. They were getting real into themselves. They're just saying really basic things, but then they think that people who are smart use really huge words, and sometimes it's true, but nobody would understand what they're saying if they did. And I believe that most people are trying to be understood. If you're trying to give off an air of intelligence, then you would say intelligent things, not come up with big, huge, roundabout ways to say really random shit and then laugh when people don't understand what you're saying, because you're so high in your mental abilities over there. You could memorize a bunch of big ass words. Those guys were really getting on my nerves. As a matter of fact, I would call them out and ask them how old they are, because I know a lot of people who have PhDs and none of them talk like this. And once I'd be like, "Yeah, what are you, some 5th grader or something? Like, what are you, some guy who's barely in the high school that thinks that using big words is part of being intelligent, and that's how you think you're gonna win your little comment argument with me, and all of a sudden they don't want to respond. Well, isn't that interesting? Isn't that nice? Get out of here. So I hope you like the official redo of the video game plot summary. And thanks again for all the subs, and thank you for the likes and all of that stuff. You guys are great. I'll see you guys on the next one, which is going to be Gears of War 3. I'm halfway into it right now, but I just thought I would do this real quick. It wasn't real quick. It took me all day. But anyway, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.